Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome to this morning's WZ Coffee Break. I'm Chris, and I'm here to talk to you about webinars. Or I'm sorry, geez, not webinars. I'm here to talk to you about podcasts. I was asked to share some podcasts because I'm a little bit of a podcast nerd. I've been listening to podcasts for well over 10 years, between flights, hotel rooms, gym, most importantly, working from home. Podcast could be a great way to have company in your office while you're working alone, that kind of thing. Voice to listen to even argue with from time to time, etc. But I love listening to podcasts. Got a variety of different podcasts I kind of want to share with you. The office had said, "Hey, Chris, why don't you share some of your favorites?" And you know what I started to do? I opened my phone, opened my podcast app, and I created a list. And I couldn't even keep it to one page. And Jesus, where do I begin, right? So go through a couple of basics ones, that many might be familiar with, but ones I particularly like, and then I'll share the good ones with you real quick. But some of the ones that I think I definitely recommend, going through The Alarmist, In the Dark, Serial, Ear Hustle's a good one, 10 Things That Scare Me, Murder Squad, You're Wrong About, which is a really interesting one to give you some insight into what we think happened in certain situations. All Songs Considered. The NPR Tiny Desk concerts are awesome if you're into music. Freakonomics, Noble Blood, kind of interesting, going through the British Empire. Points of Inquiry, the TED Radio Hour, Stuff You Should Know, TED Talk Daily, Conviction, Malcolm Gladwell's Revisionist History is another good one. I love the 30 for 30s, on the sports, and then 30 for 30 does some great documentaries, but they also have some fantastic podcasts as well. True Crime Obsessed is another good one. Date with Dateline, and again, some of the ones that many of you might be familiar with. Now, my daily feed kind of sounds like this. I have a little bit of a few that I listen to every day. Go Lick a Wingo starts my day. I'm a sports guy. I love listening to the Sport Chat. I just wish someone could teach Wingo how to ask a question. But Go Lick a Wingo is good. It's fun conversation. 4 episodes a day. They do their 4-hour show. 4 episodes in 40 minutes, or you could just have a full day recap in less than an hour. Also listening to The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Occasionally, especially during football season, I like listening to The Herd. It's 2 hours for the full show, or it could be broken down to a 45-minute recap. Global News, BBC, good way for me to pick up my news. They do it twice a day, 25-minute podcast twice a day. Getting some news that's global, also has a little influence here in the States, but it's without some of the biases that we might be used to. The NPR Story of the Day is another good one. Simple 4-minute. The Daily out of New York, 25-minute podcast for some news. NPR Politics podcast is a daily feed, 13 simple minutes. And then another regular for me is The Favorites, another sports one, talking about the gambling sides of sports, etc. A couple quick ones that I definitely recommend outside of my daily feed. Monster has a couple good series. They've got the Zodiac series, the Atlanta children killings in season 2, DC Sniper season 3 that they're in right now, and then Insomniac is another kind of shoot off of Monster. Really good series there. Love Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Fantastic, really interesting hearing those guys talk, particularly on the cosmic queries, where fans get to send some questions in that they address. The ID10T podcast with Chris Hardwick, depending on who his guests are, love listening to the conversations, super light conversations, good questions. He's a good interviewer, about an hour and 15-minute podcast there when those come out a couple of weeks. For those of you that are into true crime and music, like myself, Disgraceland is a great one, talking about some controversies within the music industry and looking at it from a true crime perspective. Really, really interesting podcast. 45-minute episodes there. Another one I really like is a Dublin Story Slam. Dublin Story Slam is people getting up, open mic, telling a story. They'll make you cry. They'll make you laugh. There's some great stories with the Dublin Story Slam. Sometimes it might be a little difficult to pick up because of the harsh Irish accent every once in a while, but 30-minute episodes there. The Nobody Zone out of RTE Island. The Nobody Zone explores perhaps one of the most prolific serial killers in time, an Irish guy in London murdering people in the tube. A really interesting story there, about 40 minutes per episode on that one. Brain science, the neuroscience of behavior, another good one that I really enjoy getting to understand how our brain works, how and why we do the things we do, for about 45 minutes each episode there. Philosophize This, another super one. It's about the thinkers that forged the world, and really interesting getting insight into how they've impacted modern world. About 25 minutes per episode there. Hardcore History, good twist on history. Those are long episodes, though. They can go 4, even 5 hours per episode, but the depth of what they share in there is fantastic. Finally, Invention, which is another one of what we are made of and what made us, about 55 minutes per episode. Really enjoyed that one. And then the last one I got for you is Decoder Ring, examining some cultural milestones there, about 45 minutes per episode. Fantastic, good opportunities to, again, get a little company in the office or while you're working from home, keep you busy, but a lot of podcasts for you to choose from. There's absolutely no doubt about that. One last tip before I go. When I listen to my podcast, I'll cue this up here.
So again, when you hear that, do you hear anything salacious, though? I guess is the point. No, you don't. And I guess was that what everybody was expecting?
I listen at a 1.5 or sometimes a 1.7 rate. Why?
Not getting out of hand, which goes against doing this show of one.
Because I can get through a 45-minute webinar or 45-minute podcast in about 25 minutes. Plus, it increases your listening skills, forces you to listen. You guys have a great day. Thanks for coming. Today's coffee mug goes out to our colleague, Jeff Youngblood. Jeff's in Holland. Jeff had a grandbaby, his very first grandbaby, very recently in the midst of this pandemic. Jeff, I hope you get to see your grandbaby soon. You guys have a great day. Keep in touch and enjoy those podcasts. Talk to you soon. Bye.